So today we're making Tuscan white bean pasta. I found this recipe. It seems pretty simple. I am not a vegan, by the way. I know that a lot of these recipes I've been doing are meatless, but we're not vegans. I'm just trying to use up all of our beans. If you've seen some of my other videos, then you know that I stocked up the house full of beans when you know what started, and I've been trying to find some ways to go through them and hopefully use them up in things that actually taste good. So this is a pretty simple recipe. It says it can come together in about 30 minutes, if you can see that. Now, usually these people are full of it, or at least I never managed to make their timeline, but we're gonna try our best. So let me show you what we're using in this recipe, and then we will get started. So first, the recipe calls for 8 ounces of linguine or fettuccine, but I have this whole wheat pasta that I bought. They have it from the store brand at our supermarket, and I figured if this is something I like, I'll probably make it in bulk and have it for lunch throughout the week, so I'd rather make it whole wheat just so that it's a little bit healthier. Next, we're gonna be using some olive oil, some butter. This recipe calls for minced garlic. They expect you to do it yourself, but I'm not going to because we have this stuff. Then they want some grape or cherry tomatoes, so I just emptied out this container. I didn't realize I was probably supposed to use this entire container, and we've had some of these already. They make it sound like you're gonna just cook the tomatoes whole. I figured they'll probably explode if I do that, so I did take a steak knife and just cut them in half very quickly. Oh, and by the way, I thought you guys should see this label for these tomatoes because I thought it was really funny. It says, "A tomato for every occasion." And then it also says not to put these in the fridge, which is absolutely what we did and what we always do. So we never read this, and maybe we should have. Okay, so next we want some salt, then some dried basil. I also forgot to mention ground pepper. Then we want some white beans or cannellini. Yeah, cannellini beans. So I just rinsed and drained them and put them in a bowl already. But if you're curious, these are the ones I'm using. It's also a store brand, by the way. Now, here's where things get interesting. For the last ingredient, they want us to use baby spinach. I don't have that, but I figured I can use some of this kale. Or I might skip it altogether because I don't like vegetables. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in. And then they just want shredded Parmesan, which we don't have that, but we have grated cheese. All right, so the first thing we want to do is cook the pasta. And I am going to cheat like I always do, and I'm going to boil the water in my electric kettle because it's faster that way. So I'm going to boil the water in here, and then we will pour it into the pot on the stove, and I'll take you over there while we make this. All right, it's showtime. And now we add our salt. Okay, so we're gonna add in our pasta. And we're gonna let this cook for 8 minutes. All right, so now our pasta is done, and now we have to work on our sauce, which is probably going to be the most demanding part of this whole recipe. It seems like you gotta really work fast. So we just have to stay focused and try not to fuck up. All right, so burner on. I'm doing like a medium-high heat. We wanna heat up some oil and butter. They say 3 cloves of garlic. That and that. I like garlic. And what's an Italian recipe without a wooden spoon? Lowering the flame just a touch, and this looks like the garlic is already browning. So, tomatoes. Plus some salt, some pepper, and dried basil. And we're gonna lower the flame a little more. These are supposed to burst, these tomatoes, but I cut them so maybe they won't, but we want them to cook and soften basically. So we're gonna let these cook down. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys how these tomatoes are breaking down. If you could only see me right now, I am holding my ring light in the most ridiculous way while I'm stirring this, but these are breaking down so nicely, and it's starting to look so good. I did print this recipe out without the photo of what the finished result is supposed to look like, so I'm kind of flying blind here, but I think that this is what all the tomatoes are supposed to look like. They're probably all supposed to get mushy like this. The skin is weird to me. I'm wondering if maybe I should have peeled it off, but nobody said to do that in the recipe, so we didn't, and it's probably too late now. I'm hoping it's not like a weird texture once this is all done, but I'll let you know during the taste test. All right, I'll check back with you when this looks more done. Yeah, how's that camera angle? All right. So I think we're just about ready now to start moving on with our lives. So the next step is to add in the spinach. We are using kale. We did decide to add it. I want to show you though, this kale that I bought, it sucks. There's a lot of stem in there. So I might want to pass on the store brand frozen kale in the future. I'm trying to pick out the big pieces that are like easy and quick to grab, but I definitely regret buying this. But okay, let's add that in. The recipe called for 4 ounces of spinach. This might be a little bit more. I didn't weigh it. I know it cooks down. And I figured this sauce should add enough flavor that I won't really hate eating this kale. So that's a win. All right, so we want to let this wilt a little bit. I've been smashing the tomatoes just slightly also. All right, I think we're ready for our next step, which is the beans. And some of these are breaking, so I hope that's okay. So we just want the beans to get warmed up. So I'm gonna stir it around. Try not to break too many more of them. And I'll just give it like 2 minutes so that we know that they're all warm. Looking at this now, I almost wish I had more tomato in here. Get out of here, kale stem. You're not welcome. So this has gone from tomato sauce. Well, what I was expecting was like a creamy tomato sauce with spinach/kale accents and bean accents. And instead it's now like a tomato, bean, and kale sauce, which doesn't sound as good. But with the garlic and the butter, hopefully it tastes okay. All right, I am making an executive decision that we're ready to add our pasta back in. Whoa. So we're just gonna mix this all up, and then I'll come back and do a taste test with you guys. See if I can convince Billy to try some too. Okay, we're back. We're gonna taste this. So I just put a little bit of grated cheese.
It's hot.
It is hot. I was worried it would be too cold, so I left it on there nice and long.
Trying to get a little bit of everything. I want to preface this by saying that I do not like beans.
I told them that you probably wouldn't even want to try this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What kind of pasta is this? Is it whole wheat?
Sorry, I forgot to tell you.
Is this someone's recipe?
As a matter of fact, it is. Where's the website? Budgetbites.com. And oddly enough, they spelt bites like the computer version of that word. I'll put the link. It'll be in the description.
I don't like beans. I don't like the texture.
All right, so.
I also... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Talking with my mouth full. I don't like whole wheat pasta either.
He doesn't like anything.
I feel like it would be good if it was regular pasta. I would probably be okay with the beans. I don't really like them. It's not bad.
That's fair.
I don't like whole wheat pasta and I don't like beans.
That's fair. But I do want to ask.
I like the kale.
Now you're biased because you don't
tomatoes.
like this.
Yeah.
But this is going to be our new system, I think. Pass, fail. Does it pass or does it fail?
In this form, for me, it fails. I don't
Ooh.
want to eat this again.
All right, you heard it from straight from Billy.
Well, I mean, I don't like the whole wheat pasta. I'd rather have brown rice pasta. Although I've never had that without a red sauce. So
I don't like brown
You taste
rice
it more in like, what is this, like olive oil?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like kale in pasta. That's fine. We made that
Blue Apron.
We had like a kale pasta that we made a bunch of times. And that used not beans, but it used... No, chickpeas, which I liked. Well, I would eat that. I would swap this out for chickpeas. I basically just make that... It's the same thing. It has kale in it.
So you don't want this at all. You want a completely different recipe. Well, thank you for watching. And if you lean towards Billy as far as your preferences, don't make this. But if you like beans, okay, look. If it was my birthday, I would not request this. But for a healthy weekday lunch, this is fine for me. When you really lay it on heavy with the grated cheese, I like that. I think it's good. You're never going to crave this, but I don't hate it.
Does their recipe use whole wheat pasta, or you just do that because you have it?
No, I was trying to make it healthier, so I could eat it like every day.
I don't know. I don't really like whole wheat. You really taste it. I get that it's healthier.
I don't really taste it.
I taste the whole wheat.
Do you guys taste the whole wheat? Thank you for watching. And thank you for tasting. And thank you for being honest. Netflix and chill.